Let us now think more about your aspirations. You, I think, coined this phrase for your strategy. You called it Rethink Moldova, and you wanted to tell Moldova that if you are to become a part of the European family, there has to be fundamental institutional and structural reform. Right. The problem seems to me to be this, that you are not in any position to fix the endemic, the systematic corruption inside your country.
Not true. Yes, we were quite slow in tackling this key issue, corruption. Key because it's not just endangering the activities of the state institutions, but it creates this constant irritation for our normal day-to-day life of our citizens. And in this way, they don't trust, they don't have confidence in the future of this country, and they just migrate. And in this way, we don't have confidence and support from our European and American friends, those who believe in the independent justice, but the justice which should act according to the law. In the last 1 month, to give you just one example, we put behind the bars, first time in our history, 2 judges, which is extremely difficult because we see the huge resistance from their corporation, but which shows the seriousness of our approach, which also shows that our colleagues in the justice now finally understand we cannot live anymore like this. Society has reached this critical point, and we need to change it. So what I'm saying is, it is not easy.
You've put excuse me, but you've put a couple of judges behind bars, a few police officers as well, whom the people you have not taken on and put behind bars are the people who really matter. That is, the politicians and their friends at the very top of Moldovan society who are driving the corruption. And I say you're not in no position to fix this problem, and I say it because you came to power because your predecessor was locked in a bitter set of allegations and counter-allegations with Moldova's richest businessman, Vladimir Plahotniuc. Now, Mr. Filat, the former Prime Minister, Mr. Plahotniuc still hold key positions. Mr. Filat is still the leader of your political party. Mr. Plahotniuc is still the leader of the Democrats, a key coalition member of your government. His party still in effect appoints key positions like the Prosecutor General, the prosecutor in the anti-corruption department. These people who are under a cloud of suspicion are still at the very top of your government.
Again, if you look at what has happened in the last few months, it's the expression of understanding that everyone on the top of this elite, political elite, but those also on the grassroots understand that we cannot bear anymore.
Why is Mr. Plahotniuc still a key member of your governing coalition? Why was his party given the authority to appoint the Prosecutor General?
Well, he is a high-ranking member of the Democratic Party, which is an important
and you know all of the allegations.
No one has proved, and we know that there is such a principle in a democratic society as you need to prove that someone is guilty. Until it's not proven, he is not guilty. So that's why
you're the man who has vowed to completely change the mentality of your country. Now you sound like a man who is part of the old regime.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so important for us to build an independent justice system, independent courts, who would not look at who is in whether he's a high-level politician, a prime minister, or a minister, or I don't know, a fellow judge. And that's why the European integration is so important for us, because the European Commission is offering us money, expertise, but also puts pressure on us. And only in conjunction with our political will, plus this transfer of expertise, we can work. I am not a lawyer myself, but I understand if you don't start with the justice system, you will never be able really to fight corruption and to put high-ranking officials also behind the bars. If the judge could be bought, and then how do you want to take in to the justice those who are punishable? That's why, again, the reform of the justice is key for us. That's why we received from the European Commission, if I'm not mistaken, 60 million euros grant to help us. That's why I hope very much we've started discussions to bring even judges from countries like Sweden or Finland to put them next to our judges and to make sure that our judges' activities are monitored.
You've got a lot of work to do. Before we end, I just want you to address with me, if you would, the perception that Europe and the European Union has of Moldova today. You want ultimately to be a full member of the EU.
Yes.
You say it can be achieved within 5 years. I just wonder whether you are aware of the degree to which Europe, the EU, looks at Moldova and still sees a place where not just corruption is still endemic, but also organized crime is a massive problem.
Not because
and
I
the people
think
trafficking,
the people trafficking, if you look back in 2009 and what happens today, the trend is very, very positive. And that's what Americans, but also people in Brussels can confirm, that yes, we still have the problem, but the situation is much better in terms of not just prevention, but in terms of punishing those who were engaged, because before 2009 almost no one was put behind the bars for trafficking. The same is on the organized crime. This city is pretty secure. Yes, we still have problems, but we are reforming the police in a critical and crucial way. So we see already the results in terms of the relationship between the police and the citizen.
But I just wonder whether you feel that you've missed a window of opportunity in Europe, because if you see the last European election results, you see that an extraordinary performance by nationalistic, some would say sometimes xenophobic political parties in Western Europe who are anti-immigrant, they are worried about open borders, and frankly they're very worried about extending the EU to countries like Moldova. And it may be that the political temperature in much of the European Union has moved against Moldova.
Moldovans have proved to be among the best people in terms of integrating themselves into the society. In Italy we have almost 200,000 Moldovans. In Portugal we have about 50,000. When I told Prime Minister of Portugal we need to bring them home, no, let's keep them there because they are very good and decent and hard-working people. But that's not really the problem, because we didn't really need them back home. Yes, we came with a delay, but I still believe that the window of opportunity is there. And what makes me happy is that despite these new feelings in Europe, everyone understands that even bringing the small Moldova would be an objective much bigger than the territory and the population of Moldova, because it would mean that we are able to spread the air of stability and security further to southeastern Europe, and not just to allow this instability to be driven into the EU.
If I may say so, Mr. Prime Minister, you strike me as an eternal optimist. Is not the likely outcome for Moldova that you will be stuck in a sort of twilight zone? You will be the subject of a perpetual tug of war between Moscow and the European Union, and then the net result will be that you will not be able to achieve the aspirations that you've set out with me.
1 year ago, several EU capitals never believed that Moldova will be able to get this visa-free regime. And it exists, and already 60,000 Moldovans were able to benefit from it, again, not to abuse, and it works. So I'm quite optimistic that yes, we will be able to get the European perspective to become candidate, and then to become, I don't know, it's not that important, but it's 5 or 7 or 8 years. What is critical for me is to win the elections, to continue this path, and to become candidate. Then we will be put on the irreversibility side of our pro-democratic, pro-reform movement.
And in a word, you will not let Vladimir Putin stop you.
We need just to convince our citizens that our path is the only one without alternative for Moldova, and I'm sure that we can do it. I believe in the wisdom, collective wisdom, but also individual wisdom of my fellow citizens, and together with the support from European friends and partners, we will get there, I'm sure.
Prime Minister Iurie, Leancă, thank you very much for being on Hard Talk.
Thank you very much for your interest, and I hope you come again to visit us.
Well, if you think you're going to be